Welcome back! And I'm going to steal my friend's line this time. Welcome back, people of all genders and sexes.
Alright, I didn't quite get the full line, but we'll go with it.
What did I miss?
My usual line is, welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and people of all gender presentations. Ha!
Shouldn't we be saying of all gender and sex presentations?
Jury's out on that. Gender is something you present. Sex is biological. It's also something fun to do. You guys missed it, but I made the cheesiest joke face possible. So, anyway.
I didn't even see it. And we're gonna skip our stupid little dialogue, because we've already, so we don't need to keep seeing that every time.
Yeah. This is the...
Chapter 4! Rogues!
It's a fun class. Lots of skill points, but really, I don't know. Damage kind of falls off late. You're really relying on them sneak attacks.
So my friend and I were just listening to music here, and we're explaining what they make us feel, and we might be discussing that here.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea.
Ethan?
Music in video games is a really interesting subject, actually.
It's nothing. Just thinking about something's all.
Well, then it's not nothing. Somebody leveled up.
Sounds as though we have a guest.
Huh. Apparently Pete is GRM made.
What's happening?
Ethan, it's that thing!
Oh, hey, Lumia. This is Pete.
Ethan, who is this girl?
My little sister, Lumia.
Pete sounds
My apologies,
jealous.
I did not mean to alarm
I'm
you.
not sure if we should be worried.
It's alright. You're actually kinda cute. Did I scare you, Pete?
So, I mean, let me get this straight.
So, what are you doing here anyway?
She lives on a space station
You forgot?
with 3 planets, all populated by different races.
Ah, I guess I did.
She uses a technology that stores stuff as photons,
Huh?
as like nanoparticles or whatever in electronic data to store her. She uses that to store her clothes. And this is a society that has holograms and apparently faster than light transportation, and she's never seen a robot? Whatever.
In case she's blind, the Loos are robots, basically. Cats.
Yeah, casts are basic. Well, okay, they're a bit more than robots.
In Phantasy Star 4, they're called androids.
Which makes sense. Although technically the ones that look female should be called gynoids. But
You don't need to ask about anything.
yeah.
Mostly because I already know everything.
Yeah. Ooh, oh, crap!
You completely forgot in like 2-3 minutes.
This is Ethan we're talking about.
The 17-year-old master of forgetting.
He's not very focused.
Would you say he looks his age?
I guess he's pretty fit for someone his age, but then again, he's also working for basically a paramilitary unit.
But yeah, that's always been interesting to me. Like, I'm 22, and I've got like 17-year-old friends that are taller than me.
Yeah, it happens. Clothes shop, 3rd floor. Yeah, I'll be honest, living on a space station like this would be pretty sweet.
Okay, so like, to give you guys an example of what we were talking about earlier, what does my partner here have to say about the music here for the colony?
Well, it's pretty relaxed. I mean, it's not... Appropriately, it feels a bit like shopping mall music. She said clothes shop on the 3rd floor.
The more interesting stuff is when it gets to bosses and random encounters and RPGs.
RPGs?
RPGs.
Oh, RPGs. Yeah.
Because the games like these can't have random encounters.
The way this is designed now. I'm guessing that's the synthesis shop.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Weapon upgrades. We don't have any upgradable weapons at this point in the game. It's not very,
I've never bothered grinding here because it's a chance-based thing.
Yeah, well, and at the point in the game we're at, it's not really a good idea because you're going to get your weapon upgrades in the next mission anyway. Later in the game, yeah, better idea.
Because in Phantasy Star Portable, you can just use upgrade grinders because they'll upgrade with 100% success. In Portable 2, you just have to pay money to upgrade them. But in this, it's chance-based. Like, if you use a certain type of... It also depends on the grade of the weapon. Like, you could have, like, a 66% chance of success.
I see.
So I've never...
But the higher grade the weapon, the better your chances are?
Lower.
Low? Oh, okay. What's the penalty for failure? Does it just use up the item and...
Back in when network mode was still up, it used to be that your weapon completely broke.
Oh, wow.
But weapons, you can grind them up to 10 times.
Oh, and it gets to be a plus 10.
Like 1/10, 2/10, and so on. So it used to be that your weapons completely broke. Then they changed it so you lost the grind. So if you grind it to like
that's what most games do now.
To like 9 out of 10, and you fail, and then you failed trying to go to 10 to 10, your maximum grind would go down to 9.
Oh, I see.
So normally you can grind up to 10, but then if you fail, it reduces it by 1.
I see.
Which is better than completely breaking.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing the whole point of this is to get you familiarized with where everything is on the colony. Because otherwise I'm not sure what the point of this would be. And pointless padding is one of my pet peeves in games. Pacing is critical in a video game. If you're not... if the game doesn't engage the player, then you're gonna lose the player.
Yeah, we were talking about that with DracoQuest earlier. Like,
yeah,
up
that's
to
weapons.
He was saying something about the pacing changing at Dolmagus.
Yeah, well, it's not really the...
Hey there.
Not so much the pacing...
Thanks.
As the emotional investment in the game.
Although after Dolmagus, this one actually starts to speed up a bit.
Well, yeah, pacing-wise, but emotionally, I just wasn't as invested in the game after that. But anyway, yes, pacing is so crucial to a game. It's one of those...
What are you... What?
Oh, dear. What is she shopping for? I can understand wanting to be prepared on a date, but...
And I can understand wanting to have armor just in case there's an attack. Well, then again, weapons too. I don't know.
She's not trained to use them, and as anybody who is actually experienced with actual weapons will tell you, somebody who is untrained in the use of a weapon is way more dangerous, both to themselves and to everyone around them, than someone who actually knows what they're doing.
Well, I don't know. Ethan was inexperienced when he shot the seed vans and attacked Leo.
Well, yeah, but that's a relatively simple weapon. A gun is a relatively simple weapon. There's a lot of stuff here.
Sabers, twin saber. Well,
there's a lot of
sabers, swords, spears.
Also, that was a fairly basic pistol, and pistols are pretty. they're probably the... I don't know. I'm not a weapons expert here. I don't know guns very well. But pistols are relatively easy to use.
Oh yeah, speaking, I've seen several videos on YouTube of people standing up for their rights towards cops.
That's a tricky subject.
Supposed rights.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Yes, they have the right to, you know, own their weapons, sure.
Yeah, like I saw a video...
But, you know, police are just trying to do their jobs.
Yeah, like I saw...
They have a family to feed just as much as you do. They're also, you know, upholding the law is what they're supposed to do. And they're supposed to, and it's not just the law, it's public safety. Like, you've probably seen stuff about the open carry protests that were in, I think, Texas. People walking into, like, Walmarts and stuff with weapons slung over their backs. Did you see the reactions people had to that? Nobody in there felt safe. Nobody did. The thing about
I'd rather them protest outside. If they're gonna protest at all.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you're carrying a weapon, the only person who knows exactly what you're gonna do with that weapon is you. Nobody else knows what you're going to do with it. You can protest all you want that you're a good guy with a gun, and you're only gonna use it on bad guys with guns, but there's no way to really know that.
There's this video on YouTube of a guy...
There's no way for somebody else to really know that.
There was this video of a guy that was on YouTube that was walking intentionally with a gun outside, and a concerned citizen, he had a permit for it, but a concerned citizen who didn't know called the cops. And they had to check up on it as part of just, you know, to make sure. And then when the cops asked him for the ID so they could check if he had a valid concealed weapons, he said, I have the right to refuse to give you my ID.
And that gives them the right to arrest his ass. That's the law. That's the legal process.
You have to give your ID when asked.
Yeah, like, shit, if I got pulled over, like if a cop asked me for my ID when I was driving, and I refused to give it to them, I'd be arrested. That's the way it works.
And funnily enough, he wasn't arrested. He argued, and then they just said, "Can I go?" And they said yes, and blah blah blah.
If I had to let me guess, the guy was white?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. If it had been somebody who wasn't white, they wouldn't have let him go.
Racism, or?
Well,
or not?
Yeah, basically. Like, and it's not necessarily explicit racism. It's one of those things that's just kind of gets... It's one of those insidious things that kind of gets... that you don't necessarily think about.
Subconscious?
Yeah, it's more of a subconscious judgment. Hey, synthesis kid. Because that's kind of the thing about racism, sexism, homophobia. The stuff gets internalized, and it gets buried really deep down. So that it's really hard to figure out, okay, am I being an asshole? Or am I actually thinking this through?
Yeah, I still am good for homophobia.
People feel threatened, I guess. I don't understand it either.
The only thing males can do that women can't is naturally penetrate. Women need, like, dildos.
Well, right.
But other than that, women and men can do the same things.
Well, that's more sexism than anything else. And it's important to note that there are some women who have penises.
You mean the trans woman?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
But, yeah, there was another video with the white guy that he did get arrested.
Yeah, that makes me feel a little better.
In front of his son. He went on a protest with his son. His son was like 15.
Okay. I'm not sure what the problem there is, though.
Well, I mean, it's gotta be hard for the son to see his dad being arrested. He was crying.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, if it was the son's choice, then...
Well, maybe the son didn't even know he had the gun in the car or something.
Yeah, something. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that kind of... See, I could rant for a while about issues like gun control, but my opinion basically boils down to, why are weapons not as heavily regulated, if not more heavily regulated, than the vehicles we drive? That's what my opinion boils down to.
I know in Japan they don't even have weapons at all.
Yeah, they have very strict gun control laws. Even the police force is like, and so does Britain. Britain also has some very strict gun control laws. And when you think about it, in comparison to a lot of other weapons, a gun is a very... That's a lot of killing power in one person's hands. Okay. So, back on track with the game, though. What we just did was we upgraded Pete so that... What pronouns do people use to refer to Pete, anyway?
It.
It?
They. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's call it an it.
I'll just go by name, then. So Pete can now synthesize items for us.
Because I know that when you don't know someone's sex or gender, you just say they.
Yeah. And
I find
what's funny about that is, a lot of people try to say that that's only a plural pronoun, they, when actually it's been used as a singular pronoun for, I think since like the 19th century, 18th century maybe? It's been used for a really long time.
Where did you say to go? The Guardians?
Yeah, Guardians branch.
Yeah,
in Holtes City.
I find that, yeah, because I find it easier to use they rather than he/she.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a pet peeve of mine to see people use he/she when they could go shorter and just use they or them.
Their choice. They has the advantage of being completely gender neutral and not forcing, not making things strictly binary. Excuse me.
So if I didn't know what you were, I could say, Max said they were going to the store.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, see, we keep getting off on these tangents.
Well, yeah, speaking of that, just one last note. That's another argument I got in, I think, in one of the forums I went to. It was an English, British community. Okay. And one of the things we got into an argument about was what is correct in terms of, like, this group is amazing, or this group are amazing. It would be is because group is singular. It doesn't matter how many members are in the group.
I believe that is grammatically correct. Because group as a word you're talking about the whole collective group as a singular object.
Right. It doesn't matter how many people are in the group.
However, while it may get irritating, it's important not to get too involved in debates like this, because, well, there is a term that, okay, so I believe this is actually a German term, translated. I don't remember what the actual German is, but it's a great alternative to grammar Nazi because, let's face it,
that's kind of insulting?
Yeah, very insulting. So, instead, people have started using, the term comma fucker. Because that's what the German, I think it's a German word that they use instead of grammar Nazi, and that's what it literally translates to, is comma fucker. So it's beautiful.
You mean like a comma?
Yeah.
So they're basically saying that you're fucking a comma.
Yeah.
You want to interpret it that way?
In a metaphorical way. Like, you get so worked up about grammar that, yeah.
You end up having sex with it?
Apparently. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, but it's a hell of a lot funnier. Okay, so plot developments.
Like, the staff is cool. Staff. Singular.
Yeah. Now, if you were talking about staff members, you'd say the staff members are cool.
Right. Because you're going by members, not staff.
Right. Grammar lessons via Let's Play. We should do a YouTube series.
One thing that still confuses me is that when a sentence contains both plural and singular, how do you determine if you use is or are?
Give me an example. Says the psychology major and not the English major.
Videos... The project's videos... Oh, I can't think of anything right now.
Basically you go...
videos and projects are two things I do.
Those are both plural. So. You basically go by what was the verb that's closest... the noun that's closest to your verb. Okay.
I'll continue thinking of something more and move ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Pete and the item synthesis. So yes, Pete can now make items for us, which is cheaper than having to buy them because we can just find the materials in the field. Okay. Train of thought got derailed for a second there. Anyway. So yes, Pete can now make items for us. This is cheaper than having to buy the items in the store. And we can also... The process is related to upgrading Pete. If we keep upgrading Pete, eventually we can take Pete with us on field missions by upgrading the partner system. Okay. So here we go. This is where things get... This is where things get interesting. So this guy, Lucame... Yes.
Knave.
Lucame Knave, Lucame Nav.
And Knave here, portable Nav.
Nobody can really